The 10th chapter of Matthew features a couple of firsts. This is the first time that we see the 12 closest followers of Jesus referred to as apostles. The word apostles comes from the Greek word apostolos, which translates generally as messenger or one who is sent out. This is also the first time we see Jesus sending the apostles on a mission of preaching and healing. In our gospel verses for today, we read the instructions that Jesus gave for their first outing. In short, the apostles were told to bring good news, healing, and peace, and not much else. Bring the good news that God's kingdom is near. You can get there from here. God has not abandoned you. It was good news then for those under Roman rule and for those under the weight of rules placed on them by the Pharisees. It's good news today, too, wherever you are, no matter what you are facing. Bring healing. Sometimes we may be called to facilitate physical healing. For those of us not medically gifted, perhaps our role will be akin to that of the Good Samaritan. Other times, we may play a role in emotional or spiritual healing as we visit the sick and imprisoned, provide food, water, clothes to those who need them, like the sheep in Matthew 25. Bring peace. In our societies, we are repeatedly told to be anxious. Commercials tell us that you will not be safe unless you get more insurance or a retirement investment plan, a security system for your home, a particular medication, and so on. Politicians around the world solicit support for their policies by stoking fears that people who think, act, and look differently than us. We, though, are called to place our hope in God. Today's first reading provides a good example of what happens when an individual brings faithful good news, healing, and peace to a very nervous group of people. Joseph's brothers were already anxious as they found themselves far from home in the presence of an important political administrator. Their anxiety must have intensified as they learned this powerful fellow was their brother, whom they had abused and sold into slavery. Joseph calls for peace. Do not be distressed, and describes God at work in the world. In the process, he brings healing in the form of forgiveness and reconciliation. It occurs to me that we need to adjust our approach to being Christ's messengers. It can be tempting to try to determine who merits the healing and the peace, but that's not what Jesus told his apostles. It may be that someone refuses what is offered. Make the offer anyway. It can be tempting to think that we can know who needs healing and peace, but it's not always possible to recognize the pain and the turmoil a person carries within them. In fact, a person may not realize that they're carrying it themselves. So, Joseph looked like a person who was thriving, but encountering his brothers brought him to tears, and the reconnection with his family was the cause for celebration. And by extending forgiveness to his brothers, Joseph experienced the healing himself. So may it be for us. Amen.